Very good evening. So before I begin my session for the day, I'm just going to wait for somebody and someone to respond to me and tell me if you can hear me and if you can see me. Because of course, remember, every time there is a glitch, it happens with this, that the sound doesn't come through very clearly. So guys, if you're hearing me, can you please give me a yes or a no? If my audio and my video, you can see my picture as well as you can hear me. Uh, I'll just wait for a second. In the meantime, let me quickly introduce you to my courses. So my upcoming courses for CLAT, in fact, my course that has just started today is my capsule course on grammar that I have started today on the 16th of April. This, interestingly, is a morning course. So every morning from 9 to 10, I'm going to be discussing grammar, all the important issues concerned with grammar. So today we did cover pronouns. Tomorrow we get on with subject-verb agreement. And similarly, in the next 5 sessions, we'll cover almost all of grammar. I have 3 other ongoing courses. So the RC practice course, which is my first part of the RC practice course, happens every Thursday and Friday. So of course today is a session for that at 10 p.m. every evening. That again is a 1 hour long course. My Master VRC for CAT 2020, which is my exclusive Hindi batch, happens on Monday and Tuesday at 9 p.m. And of course, on the weekends, if you're free and you're not working, and then you can definitely join us for the Perfect Score batch at 4 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday. Friends, I'm also going to be launching a course for para jumbles, para summary, etc. in the month of May, as well as launching another course on critical reasoning in the month of May. So all those who were waiting for those courses, don't wait. We are just going to be starting them from the 1st and the 7th of May. These 2 courses are going to be launched very, very soon. Remember, if you haven't joined Unacademy, then you must use my referral code ABHICAT to get a 10% discount. Alright, so with that out of the way, let me quickly introduce myself. I am your host for the evening, Abhilasha. I have 21 years of teaching and mentoring experience. After my MBA, which I did from Jaipur Institute of Management in Lucknow, I have co-authored a book called Quantitative Aptitude and Reasoning. I've taught with time, with career launcher, with professional tutorials for a number of years for CAT preparation. I'm currently founding team member of a CLAT prep institute called Legal Sapiens, where in Lucknow we are based and we are running our centers. My claim to fame, of course, is my 99.99 percentile in the VRC section for 9 times that I scored in CAT. So that's a little bit about myself. Without further ado, let's talk about what makes a percentiler a topper. So when I got this topic and we were thinking about this topic, I found it to be very, very interesting. So what is that makes you a percentiler, a good percentiler, a 99 percentiler, and what makes you a topper, and what is the difference between the two? So we will look at that a little bit in detail in today's session. So I hope you're with me and we will discuss this. Let's get on with our session for the day. Okay, so let's begin first by understanding what is a percentile. Everybody talks about the percentile. Oh, I've got an 88 percentile. Oh, I've got a 68 percentile. Oh, I got a 96 percentile and yet I didn't make it. Oh, I got a 99 percentile, and there are some people who got a 100 percentile also. I'm sure you've heard of them on Unacademy also. So we do have a lot of percentilers. So what exactly is a percentile? So now a percentile, if we were talking of it statistically, that is that value below which a certain percentage of observations in a group of observations fall. So if you are at the 90th percentile, that means that 90% of the people who wrote the same test as you did scored below you. So their score is lesser than your score is. So if you got 99.99 percentile, remember that 99.99 percentile of the population has scored lower than you. So that's what a percentile is all about. Remember, anyone who scores 90 percentile or above will be the top 10% of the test takers in the merit list. So if there are 2 lakh people who write a test, then nearly 20,000 candidates, that's the top 10%, will come in the 90 to 100 percentile. Now remember, the percentile is not indicative of your marks in the exam. It is just indicative of how many people scored lower than you or higher than you. Your score may be very, very low, or your score may be very, very high, and yet your percentile might be very, very different. So what is it? How do you understand this score versus percentile thing? Let's understand a little bit more about it. So who is a topper and how does it happen and all of that? Let's try and see. So a topper, of course, is someone who gets the highest marks in a particular exam. While a percentile, like I said, is the relative standing of a person vis-a-vis the topper. So let's say the person who gets the highest score stands at 100 percentile. So everybody else will be below his score. So that's why he's at the 100th percentile. Now, if you are at the 90th percentile, remember I just told you your score is you have scored higher than 90% of the population. So that actually tells you what percentage of the population scored higher or lower than you. Now, but remember that CAT also has a normalization system, and let's quickly understand a little bbit more about the normalization. But let's first look at the percentiles that you could have and you could be applying to certain B schools. So if you have a 99 plus percentile, then you could be applying to IIM Bangalore, or you could be getting an interview call from IIM Bangalore. At a 99 plus, again, you would get calls from IIM Ahmedabad. With a 96 plus percentile, you could get a call to IMT Ghaziabad. 95 or 96, you could get calls to MDI, VG SOM in IIT Kharagpur. You could get at 97, you could get a call to NITI. At 95, you could get a call to IIM Kozhikode. The lower IIMs, you would get calls at around 93 to 95 percentiles. So these are approximately the percentile scores you would require to get in calls to GDPI in your exam. So I hope you've understood a little bit about the percentile. Now the CAT system, the scoring of the CAT system is very complex. So what they do is when you calculate, when your score comes out, your raw score comes out, remember CAT, the exam happens over 2 days. When the computer based exam started happening in 2009, the CAT body did the exam over 20 days. So for 20 days in a morning and afternoon slot, exams would happen everywhere in the country. So that means actually 40 exams took place. Now how would you calculate the scores and how would you equate the scores of each one of these 40 exams? So the process of normalization of scores was brought in. So each of the tests was scored on a different way, on a basis of the weightage, and then the scores of the candidates were normalized. Now, this normalization process kind of brought everyone to the same level and their scores at the same base score. Now, today, of course, you have only, the CAT exam happens only in 2 days, and the 2 days that it occurs, so the normalization still happens, but the normalization is now very close to the actual score. So let's say you get a score of 55 or 65 in a particular section, then your normalized score after the normalization process would be approximately the same and would not be very drastically different. Remember that the CAT paper has 100 questions. There are 3 sections where 3 marks are awarded for correct answers and 1 mark is taken away if you do a wrong answer. The teeter questions don't have any negative scores attached to them. So this is the entire CAT score. So let us say you take a particular section, you get a particular score, then that score will be normalized with the scores of the other test, the other 4 test slots. And then after that, after the normalized score is created, that's when the CAT results start coming out. Okay, so that is how it is. Now, if you look at what the percentile versus score calculation would be for CAT 2020, approximately this is what you should be expecting. That if you score around 155 to 160, your score, your percentile in CAT 2020 should be around 99 plus. If you score around 135 to 154, your percentile should be in the range of 95 to 98. If you score between 101 to 134, your percentile should be, I'm saying should be because this is approximation, this may not be absolutely correct. Remember, CAT 2020 is yet to happen. So if you're aiming for these scores, then you know what approximate percentile you could be in. So if you get a score of some 81 to 100, then your percentile would be some 85 to 89 and so on and so forth. You can look at this chart and refer to it. So what you have to understand is that if you get a score of 155 to 160, let's say even 165, then your score could be in the 99 plus percentile. That means you could be in the top 1% of the exam. Remember, there are 300 marks for grab, because every question has plus 3 marks with it. So there are 300 marks for grabs, and you only need to score like a 155 or a 160 to be in the 99 plus percentile. If you score around 165 or 170, then definitely you have reached the 99.99 score, and that then becomes very easy. Now with that in mind, you know that approximately you are looking at a score of 55 to 60 in every section. So that means getting some, if you get 60, if you need 60, then you need to do some 20 questions correctly. So with 20 questions correctly, you could be in the 155 to 160 set of marks, which could ensure a 99 plus percentile. So this is something that you should keep in mind when you're doing your preparation, that what is the kind of marks that you would require to get the required percentile that you would need to get into the top B schools. Now, if you look at the section wise breakup also, let's understand that also. So you would require some 65 to 67 marks in the VARC section for a 99 percentile, a 48 to 50 in the DI section for a 99 percentile, a 55 to 58 in the quant section for an approximately 99 percentile. So a total of some 157 to 160, like I've been telling you in the previous slide also. That is what you will require to get into the 99 plus percentile. So for the VARC section, remember it's just 65 to 67 questions. That means some 22 odd questions if you get correct, then you are in the absolutely safe zone for getting your 99 percentile. That makes a lot of sense, and that I think should give you a target for what you need to be preparing. So that is your goal. Do your 22-25 questions correctly and get into that 99 percentile for the VARC section. Remember, if you look at this plotting, then you will realize that VARC section is the one section where the highest scores will let you to where you will need a very high score to get into the 99 percentile, as compared to quant where you need just 55 to 58, or for DILR where you just need 48 to 50 marks. So that approximately, I hope you will be able to understand from this the kind of expectations that you should have from yourself if you're planning to get a 99 plus percentile. Now, a higher score definitely means a better percentile. The CAT scorecard doesn't display your CAT score versus the percentile. It only gives you the scaled CAT score versus the percentile. So the normalized score is given and your percentile is given in the CAT scorecard. So the raw score is not given to you in the CAT scorecard. But you can approximately understand the number of questions, and you can check your CAT answer key and calculate your marks, and then with that you can understand what kind of percentile you would be in. So if you get around 65 to 66 marks, you know that in the VARC section you should be in the 99 plus percentile. Okay, now the question that we were talking of, and what is it that makes a topper? I hope you've understood the whole process of percentiles vis-a-vis your raw scores, and what will now make a topper instead of a percentiler. Let's talk about that. The first thing I will say is that having the right background helps. I've been telling everyone you need 3 nines plus 4 nines to get into a top B school. My 3 nines which I've put here also are a 90% in your 10th, a 90% in your 12th, and a 90% in your graduation. So these are the 3 nines which will absolutely help you to get into the top B school and will help you make sure you become a topper. Then of course, apart from that, hard work, zeal, passion, sincerity, determination, these are some more things that you will require. Every topper, if you talk to them, will always say that I was working every single day. And that, my friends, is the most important thing that you can do for your CAT preparation. Apart from this, yes, your co-curriculars and extracurriculars will also help. Remember, a profile is not just made by your marks. A profile means you get many more things associated. So if you are playing, if you play a sports, if you read books, if you go out and do social work, all of that definitely also helps you to build the right background. Then another thing that helps you to get into the right B school or to get into the top B schools will be work experience. So of course, if you have the right kind of work experience, that also will give you an edge. Now, during your preparation time, what is it that a topper will do that others will not do? So yeah, they get on with it. They don't wait. They don't waste their time looking for others to begin when they can begin. So the toppers are the ones who begin right away. That means the minute they start their college, their graduation, they start prepping for this. In fact, even before that also. Practicing regularly is one thing that is absolutely essential. Every single day, if you can practice, even for 1 hour, that 1 hour can make or break your result. Constant reading all the time. If you read a lot, if you build that habit of reading, and if you read a lot, then that's something that is really helpful. Solving your questions mentally. I've spoken to so many toppers and so many teachers, and each one of them says this, that I always solved my questions mentally. Remember, when you take a pen and a paper, your concentration breaks. 2, you spend time writing things down. So if you're able to solve a lot of things mentally, then that definitely will make it better for you. And that's why we always suggest everyone to do your tables, do your squares, do your cubes very well, learn them up, so that when you need to do multiplication, basic division, basic addition, then you don't spend a lot of time in your exam on those things. So that's why it's important that you practice solving questions mentally. Then doing your mocks daily is something that will actually be very helpful. So take up 2 or 3 test series, and from the month of July, once you've done your syllabus well, then just get on with it and do a test every single day. Doing your mocks daily and doing the mock analysis very seriously is something that again makes or breaks your topping the exam. Remember, the mock analysis should be something where you take up all the questions, whether you've attempted them, whether you've not attempted them. You look at each question. The ones that you've attempted, you learn how to do it faster. The ones that you've left out, you learn how to do them. The entire mock analysis should not just be, did I get this question right and wrong? No. The essence of a mock analysis is that you make sure that whatever errors you have made, you do get away from those. Also, using your peer group very wisely is very important, and that's something that you can do while you're preparing. So get a good peer group and make sure that they help you, they egg you on. Stay away from anyone who's a very negative thought oriented person. So get rid of all the negative thoughts in your life and just get on with that. Now, during the exam, what does a topper do? So during the exam, a topper will understand his strengths and weaknesses and will work accordingly. That means you identify which areas in a section are good for you and get working with those first, so that you are able to get your questions right and then build a bank of score. Also, it is also very important that you don't have an ego with your exam. So if you don't have an ego, what will happen is you will not tell yourself, oh, I'm good at reading comprehension, let me just do that. What will happen is you will say, okay, let me look at this reading comprehension. If I can handle it, let me do it. If I can't handle it, let me just do away with it and let me get on with another set of questions that I can do. So understanding your own capabilities and working according to them is very important in the exam. Another thing that you really need to take care of is that you need to remain stress-free during the exam. And that means that you make sure that any question that you can't solve doesn't stress you out and you don't go into the panic mode. And that's why I'm taking a lot of mocks is very, very helpful, because when you do write the mocks in a very serious academic environment, what will happen is you will get used to finding difficult questions and not getting stressed about them. So that's another thing that's very important. And of course, a free tip that I'm throwing in is that you must target your TETA questions first. Why? Because they're the ones that will give you the biggest scores. Also, they're the ones that will be done fastest. So let's say you can do 8 of your TETA questions in about 10 minutes. Then you have 50 minutes in the VRC section to do whatever you want with the reading comprehension. So you can spend a lot of time on your reading comprehensions and again get them right. So this balancing will be very, very helpful and will be very, very important. So make sure that you target your TETA questions first. Then in your PI what is it that the topper will do? Now the first thing that a topper does is he analyzes his profile to see the gaps. He needs to make sure that whatever gaps are there in his profile, he ensures that those are covered. So if you have gaps between your 12th and your graduation, if you have gaps during your graduation, make sure that you solve those gaps and you have solid answers for those. So you will work on your gaps. Any person who's looking at cracking the PI WOT also will make sure that he has several points in his CV to highlight and talk about. Remember, an interviewer will always be interested in something interesting in your profile. So create those interesting points in your profile and make sure that the interviewer listens to them, hears them, and then you talk about those things. So create those hooks. That's again something that's very important. Remain confident in your PI. That's very important. When you're writing your WOT, before you write, before you begin, plan your essay, plan what you're going to be saying. Think of your arguments very, very clearly. Because you've been reading this entire year, of course, you know that the thoughts will be there. So you just have to put them into the correct order and then create your PI WOT profile. Friends, the only thing that makes a topper is his thought process and is his desire to top the exam. There are millions and millions of people who are writing this exam, but there is only one topper, and that one topper could be you, provided you tell yourself that you can be the topper. With that, we come to the end of today's session, friends. I hope you found this to be useful. As always, my capsule course on grammar has started today, and of course my RC practice course, the class happens today at 10 p.m. For all those who are intending to join up, please do use my referral code ABHICAT and get a 10% discount on all CAT 2020 and CAT 21 courses. Remember, you may really not require my referral code, but if you do use my referral code, it just shows me your love. And I do hope I'll receive a lot of love from you. Thank you everybody for listening and for being so kind. You guys are the best. Hi Ayush. Okay, hi everybody. Let me just say hi to you. Hi tax saving. Hi Rajiv. So next special class will be next week. Hello Abhinash. Hello Daddy. Hello Yashi. How are you? Hello Ayush. Hello Purti. Good evening everyone. I'm so sorry I missed out on your messages. I hope this was a useful session for you, and I'm going to see you, lots of you, in the evening session and of course tomorrow morning. Thank you so much. Goodbye. God bless. Adios my amigos. I'll see you soon.